Hi, my name is Jason McIntosh. I'm going to talk to you today about what differentiation is, why it's important, and how it can be accomplished in the classroom. So, what is differentiation anyway? A good analogy for explaining what differentiation is thinking about an archer with his bow or her bow and arrows. The archer practices incessantly in order to develop accuracy and agility. This is accomplished by repeatedly taking aim at the target and making small, calculated adjustments until they are able to hit the bullseye consistently. Likewise, teachers must also adjust what and how they teach in order to make sure they are meeting the needs of the students under their charge. This is accomplished by assessing what the students already know or pre-testing, examining the standards or individual student goals, which would be the target that you're aiming for, in order to determine what students need to know or need to be able to do, and then adjusting instruction to ensure this takes place. So what is differentiation? Differentiation is teachers having high expectations for all students. It is students moving to a more challenging level when they're ready. It is instructors making use of formative assessment in order to determine the degree to which that you're hitting the target and then making those fine-tuning adjustments along the way. But what differentiation is not is simply grouping students by their ability level or lines of students waiting at your desk, needing your attention, or only modifying the amount of work and not the type of work. And it's definitely not an individualized lesson plan for each and every student. Diane Hecox has a nice formula for what differentiation is, and she describes it in 2 steps. Step 1 is to analyze your current methods of instruction, and the second step is to modify your methods of instruction in response to students' needs, interests, and learning preferences. It's that simple. Now that we understand what differentiation is, we need to discuss why it's important. Most classrooms today include students from different ability levels. Even if you're not the special ed teacher, you will have special ed students. Even if you're not the gifted teacher, you will have gifted students in your classrooms. You're going to have all ranges of abilities. Teachers need a way to reach all their students and ensure that everyone learns something new every day. As we all know, a one-size-fits-all curriculum is not going to work anymore. A second reason differentiation is important is that all students have different learning preferences and interests. Howard Gardner, in his theory of multiple intelligences, once said, "The biggest mistake of past centuries in teaching has been to treat all children as if they were variants of the same individual, and thus to feel justified in teaching them the same subjects in the same ways." For example, some students are strong in the linguistic intelligence and learn best through talking, writing, and reading. Other students are strong in the logical, mathematic intelligence and enjoy critical thinking and solving problems. Others are more spatial or kinesthetic or prefer musical, interpersonal, or intrapersonal intelligences. A third reason differentiation is important is that all students carry certain stresses and pressures with them when they come to school. They may be physical, such as feeling ill, social, such as feeling left out or alone, or emotional, when dealing with the death of a loved one or holding anger inside because of an argument that took place the night before. All these stresses and pressures, they don't go away when they walk into the school. For many students, school can add to these stresses and lead to the development of behavior problems or learning difficulties. We as teachers have the ability to make school an escape from these everyday problems by using techniques such as differentiation. Providing choices, for example, allows students to feel a sense of self-determination or power, at least for the time being. A fourth reason differentiation is important is that students in our classes are going to come from many different racial, ethnic, and cultural backgrounds. It's important for us to be sensitive to cultural issues and to promote cultural awareness in all that we do. The fifth reason is that students come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Economic factors in the home affect the type and quality of experiences students have outside of school. This in turn determines the degree to which students can make connections to past learning and therefore affects readiness levels when learning a new skill or concept. So now that we've discussed why we should differentiate, we're going to address some of the three major guiding principles that explain how to differentiate and look at a few examples of what this might look like in practice later on in a chapter that you're going to read. The first guiding principle is the 2 C's of differentiation. I call these choice and challenge. Students need to be provided both with choice, where appropriate, and an appropriate level of challenge. The level of challenge should not be too great or too little, because then that just causes frustration. And providing not enough challenge can lead to boredom and apathy. The second guiding principle I call the 2 P's of differentiation: pre-assessment and a perky pace. Pre-assessment is the first step in determining what students need. And teaching with a perky pace means to avoid unnecessary drill and practice while making sure lessons progress at a reasonable rate and you don't leave your students brain dead. Guiding principle number 3 are the 2 F's: flexibility and feedback. Flexible groups means that students are grouped together for tiered instruction, and these groups change often based on individual student needs as determined by a pretest. So it's not like the old way where you had the blackbirds, the redbirds, and the bluebirds, and you were stuck in this group for the whole year. Teachers in differentiated classrooms also need to provide feedback to their students about their performance as often and as quickly as possible. This isn't always easy to do, but it's very important. In fact, one study I recently read said that students receive no more than 6 seconds of individual feedback from a teacher each day. It's not very much. There are many research-based strategies and techniques that make the process of differentiating easier, and here are some of my favorites. Got interdisciplinary curricula, Socratic seminars, simulations, creative problem solving, independent study, learning contracts, passion projects, curriculum compacting, tiered lessons, the Kaplan depth and complexity model. All these are fantastic strategies and methods for differentiating. When you read the chapter that I wrote, I'm going to talk about most of these in detail. I want to leave you with the quote that sums up most of what was discussed in this presentation so far. Fair is not everybody getting the same thing. Fair is everybody getting what they need to be successful. For some students, that may mean more time to process and practice. For others, that may mean providing enrichment or eliminating an already mastered skill altogether through compacting. All students deserve to learn something new every day, and all students are capable of success. No exceptions.